Hello all and welcome. So I've been working on my Julie repository, and let's get started with this. This is a new virtual assistant with Elmo model for querying downloaded text. I found a lot of errors. If you looked at this yesterday or something like that, there were a bunch of errors in here because what happens is that as I'm doing work, I am updating this. And then once I'm done with the work, and I've reached a point with the repository that I want to test it, then I go and I build a new version of it. So we're going to do that today. And actually, what we can do is, well, the first thing we do is we want to clone this repository. And so in order to do that, you come up here and you grab either the HTTPS or the SSH version of this. Grab this one if you don't know what you're doing. If you want this, you'll know it. I always use the SSH because it's my repository and I want to be able to make make edits without having to and updates and all that without having to use my password to get in here. Now, if you want to use SSH, you probably want to fork the repository first, and then grab this from the forked version. So you just hit this copy thing, and it'll put it in your clipboard for you. And then, and as I said, you'll want to grab this one probably. And then you go into your code directory. If you don't have a code directory, you can make it. This is where I build all of my Git packages in the code directory. You might have your own area for that. That's fine. You don't have to do it this way, but this is how I do it. So from my home directory, I do a make dir code, and then after that I'm going to cd into code, and then I do my git clone, and I paste in that URL that I copied. I do that with a Control Shift V. It's Control Shift V to copy into a terminal. And then if I were to hit enter, it would copy everything over. I'm not going to do that. It's already there. You'll see it. It's right, here's my Julie directory. I'm going to cd into it. No, actually, I'm going to stay where I am. Let me stay where I am for the moment. The next thing I'm going to do here is... So I use miniconda, and if you don't have miniconda, you're going to need it. So I put the link here to download miniconda, and then here's the documentation. So what happens when you download this, or at least when I download it, it goes into my download directory, and then I just run it, and it does the installation. All right, so once you have miniconda in there, I say here that I have a requirements directory in here. I'm going to cd in here after all. I have a requirements file, requirements.txt, and these are all the packages that I've installed. And there's a way you can do a pip install -r requirements.txt, and it'll try to install everything. But I say here not to do it that way because there are some problems, and therefore I'm giving you this requirements.txt file so that you can check it against a pip list later to find inconsistencies. What I mean by that is you can always type in pip list like this, and it'll show you what packages have been installed. So you can find that helpful, even though there are some differences here, like this. This list here doesn't show this YAML file, for example. So it's not an exact one-to-one match, but it can be helpful to look at this. But anyway, don't do a pip install -r requirements.txt. It's not recommended here. So we're going to next of all create, once we have conda installed, we're going to run this command: conda create --name Julie Julie Python equals 3.62, and that is going to create the environment, but it is not going to activate the environment. So we have to do this command also, and I'm going to run this one. So you'll see here that I'm in the base right now. You may not have a prompt like this, but it should not say that you're in an environment. If you are in an environment, deactivate it. And then conda activate Julie Julie. You'll see now that my conda virtual environment has changed. It shows up in my prompt here. This, by the way, is power level 10K. Is the system I use to get this kind of prompt. I use my ZSH, so my shell is ZSH, and I use the power level 10K to get that kind of prompt, just FYI. You don't have to, but I like it. So let's do the pip list here, because this is actually the list we're interested in. It's what's in the virtual environment. We don't really care what's in the base environment. That's what this is up here, is the base environment. All right, so then we're going to do this: sudo pip3 install gtts 1.2.2, just like that. I don't know why this happens here. Let's paste this in here. And I'm not going to run this because I've already done it, but that's what you do. And by the way, I'm going to show you something. Vim readme.md. So where are we? Sudo pip3 is up higher. So look at this. This is on 2 lines, and over here it's on 1 line. So I explain that if you can. I don't know. I'm just going to add an extra line here. And now I'll do a git commit. A added line. And then a git push. And then I'll just update this here. And now you'll see it's on a separate line. And so I don't know. I don't understand why it looks one way over here, and then here it looks different. So maybe I should do all of my editing over here, and then I won't have that problem. But I switch back and forth. Sometimes I edit over here. All right, so that now we've got GTTS installed, and that's the text-to-speech component. So that's fine. And then the next thing to do is the speech-to-text, and in order to do that, we're going to grab this URL over here for the Vosk API, and just copy that. And we're going to go back into the code directory, And we're going to paste that and hit enter. Oops, what is this doing? This is a git clone. We want to git clone this guy here. All right, so I should change that here. I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to do it in this window here. So you learn a little bit about how some of these things work anyway. In case you don't know, there's the button for edit. And come down here, this is, we'll change this to the command. I'll put this on the next file, git clone, blah, blah, blah. All right, so once that's done, we can save this down here. We give a commit message, included full git command for Vosk API. All right, I'm not that careful with the commit messages because if there's a spelling error, they're helpful when we look down here at. Let me go back into here. When we're in here, we see the commit message here. So we can know what the last thing that was worked on was in any given file from that commit message. Anyway, we were where? We were down here, and we had just cloned and you'll notice that even though I put this on its own line, it ended up back here, and I can't explain why that happened. But it happened. That's just how it is. So I'm not going to run this command because I've already done it. As you can see, I have the Vosk API directory. We're not really going to use this, but there are some example programs in there. If you want to learn more about Vosk, that's where you'll find them. And for some reason, it's telling me to do another pip list here. And there's Vosk. Did we? Oh, yeah. This is what we want to do. We want to do this pip3 install Vosk, and then a pip list, and then we want to make sure that we see Vosk in here, and it's right here. Now we need to get and install the Kaldi model used by Vosk. You can find it here. So click on this, and then this is the one we want, the Vosk model-en-us aspire. So just click on this and it will download it. Now when I download things, it puts it into my download directory. So let's pretend that I clicked on this, and then that took me into my download directory. Let me pull that up over here. Downloads. All right, so here it is. We can show this in the folder. Right, and if I double click on this, it's going to unzip it for me. Right, just extract. And then extract. And this takes a little while because this is a big file. So, you know, depending on your internet speed, it may take you 20 minutes or a half hour to download this thing. I've got 200 megabit service, so it only takes me about 5 or 6 minutes. But, you know, if you have slower internet speeds, it may take a while. Anyway, once this is done, you will have this folder in here, and you want to move this into your Julie directory, and you want to call it model. So if I go into model here, you'll see that I have this structure. If I open this up, you'll see that's the structure here. So I give you some instructions on how to do that back in this guy here. So you want to do a move. I have to work on this formatting. It's all messed up. Move this tilde downloads Vosk model US Aspire 0.2 into your code Julie directory. And then you CD into your code Julie. And then you do a move Vosk model-enus aspire blah 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 space model slash, and that will stick it in its own directory here called model, and that's the structure you need. And now we install Pi Audio, and for this we do a conda install Pi Audio. You can try to do a pip install Pi Audio, and it may even look as though it worked, but when you do a pip list, it won't be there. And the only way I've ever been able to get this to work is by doing a conda install Pi Audio. If you take a look out on, do a Google search for Pi Audio problems, you'll see people have more problems with this package than just about any other. And somehow Conda has managed to get this working properly. So just do a conda install Pi Audio. And then later on, I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. If you do a pip list, you'll see Pi Audio here. So that means if I do a more of the requirements.txt here, you'll see Pi Audio in here. So if you did that pip install -r requirements.txt, this stuff would fail. So that's why I say don't bother doing that. All right, so once this is installed, we can test our Vosk installation. And the way we do that is to run this program here. Python. We run this Python program here called test under microphone.py. This is one of the examples in the Vosk repository that we cloned, but I have moved it into this repository so you don't have to copy it over or go and find it. And I'm just going to run that, and a lot of log messages come up. And then you'll see here that it's actually translating what I'm saying, which is pretty cool. So this means that Vosk is working. We have our speech to text. And it does a very good job, I must say. I'm going to hit Control-C just to stop that program. But this is good. If we've gotten this far, we're doing very well. Oops. Now, if I could just get the text-to-speech working. I don't know why it's not working today. All right, anyway, we're going to do this next, which is sudo apt install sudo apt install mpg123, which I've already done. I'm not going to do it, but you run this, and that will give you the file needed for text-to-speech. Because what happens is that the text-to-speech program actually takes text and makes it into an MPG file. So you still have to play it. And so we need a player, and that's the MPG123 player. All right, so now we're going to just add some additional packages here. We have this PyAuto GUI thing here. Excuse me. I don't know why I've been sneezing like this the past couple of days. It doesn't make for good typing. Pip install PyAuto GUI -- use feature equals 2020 resolver. Now, something's wrong with the pip program, and so the programmers have requested that you add this message. This is not for pip 3, it's just for pip, and it keeps it from having errors. And how do I know about this? Because when you run pip, it'll come up with a message, a warning notice that says you should add this, and when you add that, you stop getting the warning message. So I don't know what else it does, but I just comply. I do what they tell me to do. PyAuto GUI is a program that allows you to use control the mouse and keyboard programmatically. So we're going to need that for some of the actions that can be performed by Julie. We're also going to install Wikipedia, because we want Julie to be able to get information from Wikipedia. So we run this, and I'm not going to run it because I've already done it. And then this is something you don't have to do right now. You could do this later, which is setting up your music. And I've got instructions for that here. I'll show you how it works, but this is a lot of work to get this right, because you have to get this text file exactly correct. There's a text file which I can show you called mymusiclist.txt. And so you have to have the path of each of the MP3 files in here, complete path. And if it has spaces, you have to escape the spaces with a backslash. Right? So if you have paths that have spaces, you have to escape them. If you have file names that have spaces, they have to be escaped, like this with the backslash in here. So, depending on what music you have and how much of it, it's work to set this up. I have not written a program to set this up for you. If somebody wants to do that, it would be very helpful to a lot of people. Not to me, because I'm already set up with it. But anyway, at this point in time, you should have a working version of Julie. So from within the Julie directory, we can do a /startjulie.sh. And the reason we run it this way, we could do a Python /julie.py, but if we do this, we get a lot of error messages. If I do a more of start, you'll see here that I am sending all of my messages to dev null, which is the the bit bucket. It's the trash can. So we're not seeing any of those things. But let's get this started here. /start julie.sh.
I am Julie. How can I help? To get started, you can say Julie help.
Well, that's a good place to get started, so let's say that. Julie help.
The wake word is Julia. You can also use Juliet, Julius, or Julie. Julie works best, however. You can always say Julie help. Julia also runs the listed commands that follow. Also, you can always say Julie list commands. You can ask Julia to help list commands. New terminal. Open Reddit. Open YouTube. Open website. Take dictation. Search. Open microphone. Full summary. Look up. Play music. Click. Other. Middle. Left. Right. Maximize. Minimize. What's up? Reboot. Shut down. Stop listening.
All right, so let me pull up the this guy here, and I'm going to find something called a command list here. See, you got a command list in here. Put it over here. These are all the things that can be done. So, Julie, new terminal. So you see it added a terminal here, which I don't need, so I'm going to close it. Julie, open Reddit.
Reddit is opening.
Something else I don't need. I'll just close that up. Don't need that open. Don't need that. There we go. Julie, open YouTube. Julie, open YouTube. All right, so look what happened here. It found you and it found tube, but it didn't find YouTube. Julie, open YouTube. Julie, open YouTube. All right, so that's a problem. So one of the things that we're going to want to do here is, if this is the way it's hearing me, then we're going to want to go into the file under gray matter here. And then we go into juliebrain.py. And I'm going to search here for YouTube. And I'm going to put a space here. Let's close this up here. I have to edit it. Here we go. I'm sorry. Edit this file. All right. And actually, I'm just going to, if tube in command, that should be enough. And then let's go to the bottom here. Commit changes here. This is changed YouTube action word to tube. let's commit the changes here. And let's go back to our command list. Good. And now let's go back to here. I'm going to hit, I'm going to say, Julie, Julie, stop.
Welcome, I am Julia, your virtual artificial intelligence assistant. How may I help you?
Julie, Julie, stop.
Goodbye, sir. Powering off.
All right, so I just changed this up on my repository, so I have to do a git pull in order to get that changed onto my local machine, and then I can start this up
I
again.
am Julie, Julie. How can I help? To get started, you can say Julie, Julie, help.
Julie, Julie, open YouTube. Well, it should have worked. Didn't work. I'll have to look at that later, find out why not. Julie, Julie, take dictation.
Opening a new document. After the new document is open, you can ask me to open the microphone.
Julie, Julie, open microphone. This is a test of dictation, period. I'm using Google Docs for dictation, comma, because it has a lot of features that I didn't want to write myself, period. All right, so that's that. Let's try something else. Julie, Julie, look up Paris. Julie, Julie, look up Paris, France.
Searching Wikipedia.
All right, so this actually is supposed to read this out to me. So there's some things that I'm going to have to tweak here.
Paris, French pronunciation. Pi, listen, is the capital and most populous city of France, with an estimated population of...
All right, I stopped that because I don't know what happened, but it took a long time for that to start reading. Maybe because this is such a long article, I think it read the whole thing and was going to read it out loud to me. I'm not sure. This is a program that I wrote about a year ago, I think. And I used it for a while, and then I stopped using it. But now I have an idea to actually do something useful with it, which is to integrate the Elmo program. And so that's the next step for this. Anyway, I wanted to do an update because I know there's some people who are interested in this, and the documentation was bad, etc., etc. So anyway, that's all for today. I'm going to just turn off OBS Studio and say goodbye. Thank you.